What's happening? Andy here. I am joined today by Mark Mathews of Epson. How are you today, Mark?
I am doing great, Andy. How are you doing today?
I am great. What's happening? I love the hat. You look awesome. You
Yeah,
look
you,
awesome.
you like that? I believe this is one of the old school original gangster hats, I believe, I
That
think.
is that is as OG as it gets. I haven't used the green logo in a few years. Maybe we have to bring that one back. But he's still got the thumbs
Yeah,
up there on
I got
top.
them in
That's awesome. You
I
kept that.
got them in I got them in different colors, I got the boxing gloves one. I got a whole collection back here.
Oh, you get the
Lifelong
boxing glove
collector of
one? You do have a lot of them.
oh,
Well, that is
I do,
awesome.
man.
That is awesome. I appreciate you wearing that. That's great. We haven't seen you since the dealer meeting a couple months ago. I thought maybe it'd be a great opportunity
Yep.
to just sort of check in and follow up on that. You had some products you were showing, you were about to announce, and since that time, you've actually gone and done that. So give us the rundown.
Well, we've had as you mentioned, we had a great dealer meeting. We had several hundred of our closest friends out to Southern California. It went really well. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Had great reception. One day meeting, basically in and out, really quick. Weather was awesome. And of course, the big news was we announced our new AM series of Inkjet copiers, which really rounded out our full lineup of color copiers. So we go from sub 20 all the way up to 100 pages per minute, inkjet color engines. And that was really the big thing we needed to really jumpstart our inkjet business and really get our dealers to the next level. So went really well. The meeting was good, and we've had a lot of very positive reactions coming out of it.
So, I remember several years ago, even just before you came on board, but then when they started coming out with Epson, started showing originally showing behind the closed doors the A3, and it was one of these interesting moves because they were obviously very late to the A3 market, but it's such a different technology that it kind of didn't matter. And then all of a sudden we started seeing, copier guys coming on board, and you came in, and Elliot came in, and then Joe came in, Contreras, right? So we've seen you kind of filling in with people who understand the channel, understand the resellers, and then lo and behold,
Yeah,
um, here we are 5, 6, 7 years later, and you've got a full product line. So they go,
yep.
you said from 20, they start down at the 20 range, 20 pages a minute.
Yeah, we got down sub 20 MFPs, A4 all the way up to 100 page per minute, A3 product, variety of speeds and configurations and everything you need. Focus primarily on the color market, primarily color market.
Very cool. And these aren't your typical old school inkjets. These have finishing, they have apps that work with them. These are essentially, if the customer didn't look inside, they wouldn't know what was putting the image on the paper. I was going to say the ink, but
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
So
exactly. This is everything that a dealer would normally expect in a multifunction product. All the finishing, both paper feeds as well as output trays and finishers and staplers and sorters and Z-fold and saddle stitch finishing, everything that you would expect on a multifunction product. All that without as much service, which is the key attraction for the dealers out there.
well, that is the big attraction. And I remember, we had that tour of the Epson plant, and we saw the manufacturing, we saw the clean rooms, and we saw the effort and that just the investment really that Epson has in printing to begin with, and now to kind of move into this channel. A gutsy move to begin, to come in here where it's laser is king, and you are working on changing that. But we saw, your main inkjet competitor just went in a completely different direction. They gave up on the market, and you guys almost doubled down in that time. So tell me what's the pitch to these dealers? These guys have made a living for 40, 50 years on laser printing and xerography, right? And you guys come in with a completely different process. What's
Yep.
how do you approach dealers with that? And what's the value? Obviously reliability is strong, but how are they accepting it? What's it been like for you guys?
Well, it's a great story. Epson has a great story in total. I always tell the story, and I'll tell it quickly. When I first started working with Epson, it was over almost 6 years ago, and they actually brought me on as a consultant to start with, and told me they were going to go in the copier market. And to be honest, Andy, I thought they were crazy,
I did
and
too
I
at the
was kind of
beginning. I did too.
was kind of surprised, and I went in. But when I opened up that first machine that I saw, and I saw no drums, no finishers, no, developer units, just dramatically less parts. I saw a 100 page per minute product plugged in the wall because it uses a less electricity. I was kind of blown away. And it was the first time I'd seen in a long, long time of something that was fundamentally different. And, I went through the whole process of learning more about Epson, which was, we are one of the world's largest printing companies. Most of the copier dealers don't run into us, but, we're a $7 billion printing company that I personally had never really run into. Kind of surprising to me. Had a fundamental technology, PrecisionCore, and we'll chat a little bit more about that. But PrecisionCore is the technology for us. All of our printing technology, almost all of it, is based on that PrecisionCore. And I saw a company that moves into market and commits to it. So they go into market and their goal is to be number one or number two. And I was, over the course of several months and a year, blown away. And that consulting gig turned into a full-time job. And here we are, as you say, many years later. And so the pitch to the dealers is pretty straightforward. It's an innovative technology. And if you look at where Inkjet goes, Inkjet wins. There's many case points in that, in the home market, in the wide format market. Look at the high-end production market. Where's it going? It's moving to Inkjet, right?
Oh, it's
and
already
really
there.
And the last bastion of holdouts is really the office. And so the office is primed for it. Great advantages for the dealer. For us, it's a lot less reliable, lot more reliable than the laser products. If you want to reduce your cost basis and to be able to go out and compete in the market, make better margins or be more aggressive on our price, we don't, obviously the dealers make those choices, and it gives them something new to talk about. I hate to say it, but a laser product's a laser product. And it's kind of nice to have something that's different, unique, with reliability and sustainability advantages that laser doesn't have. Well, and the dealers are interested.
Yeah.
They're very interested.
Yeah. I mean, the beauty of it is they all carry laser. So to be able to have a differentiator in the game in your back pocket, right? When everybody's pitching the same type of product, and then you can come out with something that's a little bit different and may have a few advantages out there, right? I mean, there are certain things that this product category does better than laser, and certain things that laser does better than Inkjet. But if you fall somewhere in the middle, that reliability story was eye-opening. I remember that presentation when you guys had us there, and we've seen it a few times since then. But just to be able to squeeze margins in an era when everything else is going up around them. I was just with some dealers, and they're complaining. We are literally the only industry right now at every part of your life where the cost has not gone up to the customers. The cost is still going down. They still expect you to reduce the print costs. And so where are you going to get that? Because if you're a dealer, your transportation cost has gone up, your fuel cost has gone up, your staff, employees have gone up, your building everything has increased. So where are you going to, that's all eating into your margin. And if you don't charge your customer more, which none of them are, where are you going to get that? So maybe this is the time to look over for an alternative where you have the ability to, you make more, you have better margins in because of the reliability and service, right? Are there better margins in supplies too? How does the inkjet cost stack up with laser? Is that comparable? Is it less?
Yeah, I think our big sales point is total cost of ownership. So if you take our product and you look at the acquisition price and ownership over 3, 5, 7 years, you look at the lower price of consumables, particularly in the laser, obviously a lot less parts, right? We're talking rollers as opposed to entire systems. You're talking less. You talked about service technicians, more technicians, you get higher MIF per technician, fewer calls out there spending gas and labor costs to go out. It's a pretty dramatic lower total cost of ownership and higher customer sat. You're just not as down as often, right? And add on some sustainability, you got a nice little pitch for a dealership.
It is a great pitch. It's the differentiators we mentioned earlier is really what stands out to me. And then to be able to add on to a product that's in theory going to be a lot more profitable, right? That's something that I can see people are taking a look at. I've come from presenting at 2 different dealer meetings in the last month or two, and Epson came up, especially at one of the meetings. But Epson was something that they were talking about at both of these meetings, and you're starting to get people's attention. I don't know that you're the primary brand yet, but you're definitely in a lot of pitch books where, that was unheard of a couple of years ago. So that's been an amazing run to just watch. The question I also have is, are these dealers taking advantage of the other products? Because really, where I saw you guys more than anything was when we were covering, when we're covering production, we would see, like at the Drupa show, we would see wide format stuff from you guys
Yep.
that was such next level. I had some friends that are graphic artists. They all swore by Epson. That was, what they were all using in their shops. And so, you've got those types of products. There's scanners. There's, you've got a whole portfolio really that would fit into dealers. What are they gravitating towards? I know the A3 gets their attention, but are they looking at these other things? And what else does Epson have that they might be able to, leverage?
Yeah, that's a great question, Andy. It's so applicable. So, we have a new showroom out here that we're bringing a lot of dealers out, recruiting them, as well as end user customers that we're bringing out. And to your point, we come out to talk about the MFPs and the A3s, but we always end up stopping someplace else and spending a lot of time. So you talked about scanners. So obviously a lot of the dealers are in the scanner business, a little concerned over Fujitsu being bought by Ricoh, wondering what's going on there. Perhaps we're a good alternative. Everybody stops in the label and printing room and wants to look and talk about labeling. They talk about the hospital clients they have, and they have a need for point of sale printers and labeling devices for hospitals. And of course, the wide format, what we call the LFP here, is one that's a definite stop on all of them. I was just over a few weeks ago in Vegas at the signage show over there, and lo and behold, a couple of the Epson dealers walk in the booth, and I was surprised actually to see them there. I said, what are you doing at a signage show?
Yep.
Why are you here? And they're like, well, I've got customers coming in for signage all the time, and I keep sending them down the street to another guy, and I'm done. I'm going to start providing the service myself. I'll make the margin. I can do it. And I'd rather be with a trusted partner, Epson, and do it.
Yeah.
I'd also tell you it's interesting, the wide format guys, just so everybody knows, the wide format guys, dealers and resellers coming in, they're stopping in the MFP room and spending a lot of time. So, it's kind of a two-way street. It's interesting to see the channel dynamics going on. But a lot of particularly the corporate and AEC wide format client dealers are starting to pick up MFPs. It's a very interesting transition going on out in the market.
Well, we saw some of those guys. It was a mixed group of BTA and then some other channels that you support on that on the tour that we did that time, and so that was kind of an eye opener to see the other groups that are working with an Epson. So to hear them coming, looking at the A3, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Another one I forgot about was projectors. You guys are a monster in projectors, right? So displays aren't quite your thing, but projectors are the short. I think you do the short throw ones, and then you've got the massive ones, and you guys do stadium stuff, and so you're it's quite a technology company, but just so many products that the dealers can jump on. But back to the inkjet. Before I let you go, I do want to give me an overview. What makes this inkjet so reliable? I mean, we've all had inkjets in the past, and it doesn't. Most people don't have fond memories of them, right? Maybe a bit of nostalgic, but it wasn't something that you would, think that you wanted in your office. What's changed? What is it about them today that's different that makes them so perfect for certain environments?
Yeah, so there's a lot of technology that goes into this generation of inkjet technology. We are a MEMS technology. We're a mechanical electrical device. If you've seen our factory, Andy, you know what it's like. It is basically produced in a semiconductor fab, precise precision. A little chip will scale anywhere from a entry-level retail product up to our $500,000 label printers, basically all the same technology. And it's reliable. We make over 15 million of those chips a year. Of course, if you put this on a copier or an MFP, you build a line head and you put a bunch of these chips together, over 30 on a workforce enterprise side by side, and they run through, and you don't have to put in the fusing units, the developers, the additional paper paths and rollers and fuser units that draw a lot of electricity. And because you don't have any heat in the process, the heat just makes it more reliable. So you got fewer parts, less heat, no electricity, and you got a technology that's been around literally for decades. And of course, you're making it in scale, 15 to 20 million chips a year. It's a pretty reliable process now, very proven. And I always like to tell dealers, right? This goes on our $200 serial product that you buy at Best Buy all the way up to the $500,000 label print. And actually, what we're doing on Workforce Enterprise and the AM series is really slowing down the high-end industrial process down to the office, right? And the challenge for us was getting to the price point to do it, and we've done that. Getting to a price point that's more competitive than laser.
Amazing. Well, the one takeaway was what was it? Heat bad, cold good. They made us repeat that over and over again. But the statistics they showed associated with that were pretty amazing. I mean, the heat eventually will just melt things down, things blow out. It's just it just over time in those print heads, the heat will eventually impact their reliability. But when you take the heat out of the equation, you use way less energy, and then those heads will last, almost indefinitely, unless there's some kind of mechanical error in the manufacturing. But it's such a clean process. I think that it's got to be very rare. I mean, if any of you get the chance to go see this process where they make those chips, it was amazing. Just the bunny suits we had to get into, and
got the little bunny suits.
Yep, it just I wish we had some pictures of that, but couldn't even take our cameras out, which for me was a whole thing. So, but what an amazing tour. But it really showcased your commitment to to finding these dealers, and so with that, I guess we'll wrap up and just talk about the future. You are recruiting dealers. Are you looking?
Yep.
Do you have a number, or you just want to talk to everybody? What's the plan?
Well, the plan is we are recruiting, and we got a lot of available markets. As I tell people, one of the good things for us is we're still pretty low market share, right? So you have an opportunity to kind of get in on the ground floor. We always remind dealers we don't sell direct, so we don't have branches. So we really truly rely on the independent dealer to sell and service our products. And we are recruiting. So we have lots of opportunities. I would tell you, after the announcement of the AM series and the dealer event, it has been a steady stream coming through our office. We've been fortunate and blessed to get a lot of publicity out in the marketplace. But if you're interested, absolutely contact us. We'll talk about it. We don't have a definite set target. We're looking for quality dealers. We'd rather have a fewer high quality, high volume dealers than a lot of people out there. So it just depends on the market and where you're at and the mutual need. And all we ask for dealers is that they commit to us like we commit to them and put some effort behind it. And if they do that, the product will sell. They will pick up some net new business, and it'll be a good deal for both sides.
Well, this has been an absolute treat. Always love catching up with you, Mark. God, it's been a long time since we've known each other. I don't want to say how long, but
I know it's a little embarrassing.
It is. I definitely had more hair.
It might be decades type of thing.
Yep. It's print's definitely been around for a while, and hopefully it'll still stay around for a while. But it's great watching you guys. I love seeing what you're doing out there. You're definitely shaking things up in that dealer world. There are a lot of dealers out there that will give some good references on working with these guys. So congrats on all the progress you guys have made. And any last shout outs to anyone before we wrap up?
No, just to appreciate the time today, and to all of our dealers, we appreciate the business. And for those of you who want to do something a little different, give me a buzz. We're happy to chat with you.